Hello, and welcome to Neosho County Community College. In this tutorial, I'll be demonstrating Part 3 of the InsideNC Gradebook, where we'll be focusing on final grade weighting. Remember, this is a 3-part series in the InsideNC Gradebook. Previously, we've reviewed letter grade ranges and evaluations. To get started, log into InsideNC, locate your course, and select Gradebook. From the Gradebook screen on the right-hand side, you'll see the 3 options that we've worked with previously. Final grade weighting will be covered in this video. Evaluations and letter grade ranges were previously covered. The final grade weighting options allows you to choose the option to determine the final grade for your course. Select the final grade weighting option. To change the final grade weighting method of your course, you'll want to select on the right-hand side, Change Weighting Method. There are 5 types of weighting your assignments. You would want to use this screen to choose the method you want to use to determine the final grade for your course. Usually this method is based on what you have outlined in your syllabus. The 5 types are the point method, the unit method, the type method, the manual method, and the custom method. If you are a concurrent instructor, you'll want to select the manual method. This allows you to have no automatic grade calculation. Instead, you manually enter each student's grade yourself by hand. We'll cover that option here in a moment. Let's begin with the first grading weight, which is the point method. When choosing the point method, all items are weighted according to their point values. This is the default method for InsideNC. For coursework assignments, the point values are set in the coursework portlet. For Gradebook evaluations, point values are set on the Gradebook's Evaluation tab. To select this option, make sure the green check mark is to the left, and then return back to the final grade weighting screen by selecting the hyperlink in the right-hand corner. Once selecting the hyperlink, you'll see a listing of the assignments in your course, how many points are possible, and the percentage of the weight in the course. The percentage will equal 100%, as well as your total current grade breakdown. To return back to the weighting method screen, select the hyperlink on the right-hand side. Remember, when you choose the point method, the points are based on the individual assignments under coursework. Let's go back and select Change Weighting Method, and we'll go and select the unit method. The unit method is different than the point method in that all the coursework units are weighted equally. Within each unit, items are weighted according to their point values. When considering your evaluations, if you've created one or more, all of those evaluations are treated like a single unit. Within that unit, the individual evaluations can be weighted according to their point values. I've selected the unit method, and from here I'll go back to the final grade weighting screen. When choosing the unit method, you can see every unit in the course and the percentage of the weight for each unit. Here it's listing 12.5%. As you can see, there are 8 units. The units are automatically weighted equally to calculate the final grade. If you want to make an exception for the overall grade breakdown and not calculate them equally, select which unit you want to work in. After selecting the unit, it will give you an example of how many points are possible in that unit, the assignments that are listed, and the weight in the final grade. If you want to change those weights, you can make an exception by selecting the hyperlink at the top, where it says if these assignments should be handled differently, you can make an exception here. Selecting that option will allow you to choose weight these assignments manually or weight these assignments equally. If you want to weight these assignments manually, select the option up at the top. Then, when it returns to the screen, you can now put in your own percentage weight for each individual assignment. When completed, you want to be sure that you save your work. I'm going to remove this exception by selecting the same hyperlink that I did previously up at the top. Here, I can keep this exception, or I can go back to the default and weight them by the point value. That will return me to the individualized unit. To return back, I'll go back to the final grade weighting screen. The third type of method is called the type method. The type method is where you can manually enter a weight for each type and a weight for all of your evaluations, which are treated as a single type. Remember, types can be exams, discussion forums. These are categories for each of your assignments that you have assigned under coursework. For example, you can have discussion forums worth 20% and exams worth 80%. To change to the type method, select the green check mark to the left. Then return back to the final grade weighting screen. Here you'll see a list of all of the types that you have for your class. For this particular class, assignment, discussion, InsideNC competency, private journal, and quiz are the categories. You'll also notice that the weight has been measured on the right. Assignment is worth 20%. Discussion is also 20%. InsideNC competencies are 30. Private journal is 20. And quiz is 10. The total current grade breakdown will total 100%. If you want to make a change, you can select the text boxes and make the changes directly within. So if the assignments are to be worth 60%, then the rest you'll have to configure to total. So the total will equal 100. Once 100 has been reached, you'll see that there is no yellow warning signs indicating that you're either over or under 100%. Then you can save your changes or select Reset to take you back to the original weighting scales. Let's return back to the Change Weighting Method screen. The fourth weighting method that you can use to determine your final grades for the course is the manual method. This is the method all concurrent instructors will want to use. The manual method allows for no automatic grade calculation. Instead, you manually enter each student's grade by hand. Select Manual Method by choosing the check mark to the left. Here, when you return to the gradebook, you'll be able to enter every student's grade manually by hand on what they received. This is ideal if all of your coursework is done in the classroom. This is why concurrent instructors, we encourage you to use the manual method to submit your gradebooks. The last option is a custom method. I'll select the green check mark to make sure it's active. The custom method allows you to weight assignments using a number of different methods. You can configure the grouping and weighting settings however you want them. Currently, manual types with point-based assignment weights. To configure your custom method, select the option Configure your custom method. Once selected, you can go through and select the three-part question. First, for the purpose of determining a final grade, how do you want to group your assignments? By unit, by type, or all together? To configure the method you want to use for the course, you'll have to answer these three questions before you get started. And don't forget to save at the end if you want to use the new method. So we'll assume that the assignment grouping will be done by unit. Then you can choose how you want to weight your groups. How would you like to weight your units relative to each other? Automatically or by hand? Here I'll select equally. Last, it's asking about assignment weighting. With each unit, how do you weight your assignments relative to each other? Here, you have the option of selecting all equally, by point value, or manually. I'm going to select by point value. When you're done, be sure to use this method at the bottom to save, or you can reset and start over at question 1. I'll return now back to the final grade weighting screen. By default, my course was originally set up as the point method. That is the first method we reviewed. I'm going to make it default again. Keep in mind, once you have a custom method or a type method, it's easy to change to another method without a lot of work. Selecting the point method will take you directly back to where we began when we first started the video. Now that I'm back to the point method, I can return back to the final grade weighting screen, and I can clearly see that all of my assignments still have the same points and the same percentages as they did when we first started. Good luck with experimenting with your final grade weighting options. Remember, if you have questions or you need help with weighting methods, please be sure to email acatterson@neosho.edu. Thanks for joining us for this quick tutorial on the InsideNC Gradebook.